Coming up on Network Africa. 4 people killed as vehicle in Malawi Vice President's funeral convoy hit mourners. South Africa's former President Jacob Zuma says his political party Umkhonto weSizwe will join the opposition alliance in parliament. Plus, Russian and Egyptian navies conduct joint exercises in the Mediterranean Sea. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin now with stories and happenings that made headlines over the weekend.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa was re-elected for a second term by the country's National Assembly on late Friday, following a dramatic last-minute coalition agreement between his party and a former political adversary, the Democratic Alliance Party. African National Congress leader Cyril Ramaphosa defeated Julius Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters, with incumbent Ramaphosa garnering 283 votes, while Malema received only 44 in a 400-member parliament.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the members of this august House who have voted for me, who through their vote have invested and placed their trust in me. I intend to work with all members and indeed to work together with even those who did not vote for me or who did not find their way clear to vote for me. And this is their democratic right. We are all South Africans, and I will serve all and work with even those who did not support me tonight. And so I wish to state very clearly, this is not a grand coalition of 2 or 3 parties. It is a government of national unity that we are constituting, and we've been here before.
The last-minute coalition came after the ANC lost its long-held majority in a landmark election 2 weeks prior, reducing its parliamentary seats to 159. A total of 51 dependents, including 6 holding US, British, Canadian and Belgian passports, accused of involvement in last month's coup attempt in the Democratic Republic of Congo, appeared at a military court in Kinshasa. The defendants, wearing blue and yellow uniforms, sat before a military judge on the first day of the hearing. 6 people were killed in last month's failed coup attempt, led by Congolese politician Christian Malanga, targeting the presidential palace and an ally of the president Felix Tshisekedi. According to the Congolese army, Malanga was fatally shot while resisting arrest shortly after live streaming the attack on social media. Malanga's 21-year-old son, Marcel, a U.S. citizen, and 2 other Americans, along with other defendants, are facing several charges, including terrorism, murder, and attempted assassination, and could be sentenced to death penalty. On Sunday, thousands of Muslims flocked to the stadium in Addis Ababa to mark the celebration of the 1445th Eid al-Adha celebrations with prayers. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Worshippers filled the pitch of the Addis Stadium as they collectively pray for the special prayers of the Islamic holiday. Ethiopian Finance Minister Ahmed Shide also joined to celebrate Eid al-Adha with fellow worshippers. Eid al-Adha is one of the 2 major Islamic festivals. Traditionally, Muslims around the world celebrate by sacrificing an animal and distributing the meat among family, friends, and the needy. This festival also marks the end of the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
And to our main stories for today, police in Malawi say 4 people, including a pregnant woman, have been killed after a vehicle in the convoy carrying the body of the late Malawian Vice President Saulos Chilima hit mourners on the road. Well, 12 other people were injured in the incident on Sunday night and are being treated in hospital. Now, this followed clashes between local people and the police and soldiers that were escorting the late Vice President funeral convoy from the capital, Lilongwe, to his home village for the burial. Mr. Chilima died in a plane crash a week ago. President Lazarus Chakwera has promised a full investigation into the cause of the crash and said that he had asked foreign governments to help. Late Vice President Charles Chilima is to be buried in his home district of Ncheu, that's 180 kilometers south of the capital. Tens of thousands of Malawians took part in the funeral service at the National Stadium to pay tributes and their last respects. Let's get more on this from a Malawian journalist, Clement Msiska, joining us from Lilongwe. Hello, Clement. Thank you so much for your time on the program. Let's begin with the burial of the Vice President. Has he been laid to rest at this time?
Yes, the Vice President, the late Saulos Chilima, has been laid to rest today in the afternoon in his home district of Ncheu. The funeral ceremony was attended by various people from all walks of life, politicians, and people belonging to various political parties, as well as religious leaders.
And the circumstances surrounding the funeral that held on Sunday. Tell us more about how the ceremony, went down, and also what led to that car accident that killed 4 people.
Okay, so what happened is that yesterday, most parts of the road leading to Ncheu, the home district of the Vice President, was filled with people who were waiting to see the convoy and just to have a glimpse of his casket. So upon reaching Ncheu town, that was around past 6 in the evening, a lot of people had gathered in Ncheu just to see what's going on. And so they were trying to stop the convoy so that they should have a good picture of what is going on. So the police and the soldiers tried to intervene by dispersing the people to allow the convoy to pass through. In the process, there were some disagreements between the locals and the security agents, which resulted in the locals pelting stones at some of the vehicles that were on the convoy. In the process, several vehicles coming from different directions had to divert to alternative routes. In the process, it resulted to one vehicle which hit several people. 4 died in the process, while several others escaped with various degrees of injuries and were admitted to Ncheu District Hospital.
Well, that's quite an unfortunate incident at this kind of funeral ceremony. But we know President Lazarus Chakwera has promised a full investigation into the cause of the plane crash that killed the Vice President. Is there a suspicion of foul play here?
Yes. So considering the fact that these political figures, the Vice President was someone from UTM. His political party was known as UTM. And so the Malawi Congress Party, the party from which the President Lazarus Chakwera belongs, these are 2 different parties. They had to come together to join forces together with other political parties to form the government. So these 2 presidents, or these 2 parties, signed an agreement which up to now it's not clear what is in that agreement, but what we've heard or know is that the agreement stipulated that President Chakwera will rule for 1 term and the second term will have to be given to Chilima, who will stand on behalf of all the parties in that coalition. So there are people who believe that maybe this, if at all it was an accident, then it was not an ordinary accident. And so they believe that maybe there are some forces behind the accident. That's why there are several calls for extensive and thorough investigation. So the Malawi Defense Force last week announced that the investigation will start on Thursday, and indeed the investigation started on Thursday last week. And they indicated that the investigation will be carried out for a period of 10 days. So as of today, it means we're in day 5 of the investigation. However, we don't know, as the president indicated that the government will seek help from other countries so that they come in and help with the investigations. So what we don't know is, are these independent investigators from other countries going to build on a report by the Malawi Defense Force, or they will start afresh with their own investigation? That much we don't know, but yes, I can confirm that the president has promised that he will do everything possible to ensure that the investigation is done and that people know exactly what happened that led to the death of the vice president and other 8 who were also on board.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Clement Msiska, Malawian journalist from Lilongwe. Thank you for your reporting.
Welcome.
In South Africa, former President Jacob Zuma says his political party, Umkhonto weSizwe, the MK party, will be joining the opposition alliance in parliament to be able to coordinate resistance to the governing coalition led by the African National Congress. The MK would be part of the official opposition, joining a small group of parties calling themselves the Progressive Caucus. The caucus, which collectively controls almost a third of the seats, includes the Radical Economic Freedom Fighters and the center-left United Democratic Movement. Mr. Zuma also criticized the government of national unity in South Africa, describing the partnership as a white-led unholy alliance between the DA and the ANC of Ramaphosa. The MK party came third in the May 29 elections and said none of its 58 newly elected lawmakers will join the ruling coalition. It also maintains that last month's elections were rigged and wants the results annulled. Members of Parliament late on Friday re-elected ANC leader Cyril Ramaphosa for a second term as president. However, a government is yet to be formed. Well, locals in South Africa have been reacting to the new coalition of the ANC and the DA. Many in Johannesburg expressed mixed opinions over the historic coalition between the governing African National Congress and the opposition Democratic Alliance parties, which formed the Government of National Unity, along with 2 other smaller parties, that's the Nkandla Freedom Party, IFP, and the Patriotic Alliance, PA. Locals noted that this collaboration by former Liberation Movement, ANC, and the centrist DA is something new, somewhere South Africa has never been before. Meanwhile, others voiced their doubts.
I think ANC and the DA, I think it's a good partnership to lead South Africa. Because I know DA, it's always talk about corruption. And the DA is always against corruption. So if ANC is going to lead alone, they do as they please. But because there's a DA there, they won't do as they please because they know DA is going to fight with them because DA, they didn't want any corruption. I don't think MK must be included. At least I can say the EFF. But although the EFF, they are full of themselves, they didn't want to work with white people. And the politics of South Africa is not all about colors now. Now it's about who is capable of doing it. Because it's been 30 years, we see the ANC was incompetent.
I think it's gonna bring like a positive, especially when it comes to the changes. Because I think ANC so far, according to my observation, it has failed us. Like looking from 1994 till date, like the only thing which is happening only for the political guys, but rather by the youth of South Africa.
In terms of the government of national unity, look, it's something new. It's something South Africa has never been before, and it will be nice to see it work. So we'll have to wait and see what the politicians come up with. But I really do hope they put the people first. I think the ANC has learnt a lesson from corruption and not delivering basic services. So I really do hope they start to deliver basic services and they help to address poverty.
I think it's a bad idea. I mean, why would you go with Ramaphosa? I mean, why would you go with ANC? I think it's all enslavement in all sorts of ways, so that people can, follow ANC or the leader, so that ANC don't really go out of power. Like, you just help them do more and all that. So I don't really know, but then I can't really trust them.
Still ahead on the program. As Nigerians celebrate this year's Eid al-Kabir, traders and consumers lament the hike in the prices of essential commodities needed for the celebrations. Welcome back to the program. We continue here in Nigeria. It is almost 1 year since the demise of renowned senior pastor of the Fountain of Life Church, Ilupeju, Lagos, a man known for his integrity and uprightness in Nigeria. On the day he would have turned 68 years old, Pastor, rather than host a posthumous celebration, an inaugural lecture was held in honor of Pastor Taiwo Odukoya. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ubani, reports.
Inside the hall at the Civic Center, Lagos, are gathered participants of the inaugural Daniel Taiwo Odukoya lecture with the theme, Strengthen the Christian Voice in Godly Public Office, a tribute to the late pastor's call for more Christians to get involved in public office, including governance.
Strengthening the Christian voice in government and public office.
Former Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, sent a goodwill message via video explaining some character flaws that do not reflect godly values.
If you're an employee and you use your employer's time for your own benefit, you are stealing because you are being paid and you are not working for your pay. They give a practical example. If you leave work, even to attend a church service, without the permission of your boss, then you are stealing because you are getting paid without working, taking money that does not belong to you.
The guest lecturer, former Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budgets in Lagos State, is himself a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Mr. Ben Akabweze highlights examples of public servants who were Christians. He says these godly principles and more should guide anyone seeking role in public office.
For Christians, maintaining moral and ethical standards is paramount, but not always straightforward. The political arena is often rife with corruption, backroom deals, and the temptation to compromise ethical standards for political/personal gain. Christians are called to stand firm against such practices, upholding integrity and transparency in all their actions.
Given the current challenge of distinguishing the Christian voice in public office, he calls for action in reshaping society for transformation and renewal.
Staying informed about current issues, understanding diverse perspectives, and seeking wisdom from faith traditions can better equip Christians to address contemporary challenges more effectively. Continuous learning and openness to dialogue are essential for thoughtful and informed public engagement.
A book titled Reclaiming the Nigerian Dream by Taiwo Odukoya was launched in honor of the late church leader. At the end of the lecture, Pastor Taiwo Odukoya's children, who now head the church, reiterate the aim of the lecture.
Everybody is talking. Let's walk the walk. If you can do better than getting to office.
Probably called him earlier in the day, would have gone to the house, gone to check up on him. He probably had a lot of people coming. And so I've been around in the background, taking pictures, talking to him, and seeing as we've had interesting couple of years, probably just celebrated and enjoyed the fact that he was here.
Amarachi Ubani, Channels Television News.
And as Nigerians celebrate this year's Eid al-Kabir in Lagos, some traders and consumers are lamenting the recent scarcity and hike in the prices of commodities such as tomatoes and pepper. Now, these are essential goods needed in cooking delicious meals to celebrate the Muslim holidays. Our correspondent, Kelly Egiga, was at the popular Mile 12 International Market and brings us this report.
It is tagged the choice destination for perishable goods in this part of Nigeria, and that's why we have fresh tomatoes here in this basket, as well as peppers just around here as well. But both commodities have been out of circulation for the past couple of months, and that's why we are here to find out just why. Come with me.
A beehive of activities, negotiations, and transactions take center stage at the tomatoes section of the market for these consumers and traders. The traders here employ different scales to woo buyers. But these are desperate times indeed, and buyers are mostly left frustrated.
Before, when we buy goods, we know it is expensive, but it's not like now. It's just too expensive. For us as sellers, we're at a loss. We hardly make profit on our purchasing price. Please let the government help us and do something so people don't kill themselves because the debt is too much.
I bought each at 5,000. Before, as of last year, we bought something like this, 6,000, 7,000.
When we put the pepper down for sale, customers say it is too expensive. But that is how we also bought it. What do? As you buy, you are at a loss. A crate is now 80,000, 75. A basket is 150,000. We need something to be done about it.
At the onion section, the economic realities of the Bellon economy is also biting hard.
What we make now, a bag of onions is 85,000.
When the price of fuel come down, all masses, everybody will enjoy. Those are the things that have negative effects in everybody's life. There are some people, they are doing illegal exportations of trade, which they go to the farm and buy everything. Before we get to the farm, they will tell us that some people have came, they bought the load inside the container and taking it outside the country. And they should tell the operatives across the border that they should be vigilant, checking all the trucks that are going outside. Whenever they see the one that are taking our food outside, they should stop them and send them back to Nigeria.
What are the significant variations in the cost of tomatoes and factors responsible?
Plateau tomatoes crate is 60,000. Here is it. And basket is 130,000. Cameroon tomatoes started from 40,000, 35,000. That is how it be this morning.
The farmers are complaining about the insecurity in the country because they are not being able to go to the farm and do the right thing. Secondly, the farmers are complaining about the scarcity of fertilizer, which has been very important for the farmers to have fertilizer into the farm. And we have shortage of fertilizer. Fertilizer is too expensive, whereby farmers cannot be afford to buy as it was before. Totally, we have logistics problem. The logistics problem is affecting farmers, taking farm produce from the rural area down to urban, to city, is giving them problems.
As these traders continue to battle with sluggish sales, with consumers left frustrated, the Ministry of Agriculture may need to find solutions to other issues such as the infestation of these vital commodities. Kelly Egiga, Channels Television News.
And finally on the program, the Russian Pacific Fleet and Egyptian Navy have conducted joint exercises in the Mediterranean Sea. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the joint exercises are practical steps in strengthening Russian-Egyptian naval cooperation. The warships performed maneuvers at sea, after which servicemen of both countries bid each other farewell by waving and sounding their horns. According to a statement released, the exercise participants worked out the formation of a squad of warships in designated areas, joint tactical maneuvering in various formations, conducted communications training, and also provided flights for deck helicopters. Well, since January 2024, the Russian Pacific Fleet has conducted joint exercises with China, India, Iran, and visited ports in Sri Lanka, Qatar, and Eritrea. And that's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde. Happy Eid al-Fitr.